Hi, welcome back to another episode of Who Says, an online course in self-empowerment and creative identity. Now I feel pretty weird sitting here right now. Every other time I've sat down in front of this camera to do an intro to a video, I have had my makeup done, I've been looking all glam, and here I am sitting barefaced, and that is because makeup's kind of my thing. It's not my only thing, obviously, I do a lot of different stuff, but I was also kind of always known as the girl who did makeup. Who says you can't wear glitter? So I guess while doing my foundation is kind of a good time to talk about really starting doing makeup and starting to get into it. So I think a lot of people, myself included, have a quite complicated relationship with makeup. I personally started first wearing makeup probably year 7, so I was in my first year of high school, and I just felt all of this pressure, I guess, to just be beautiful. I think that's really where it came from. I just wanted to be prettier than I was. And I guess it kind of only grew from there. I was never into the creative side of it, really. It was always what can I do to make myself pretty? Around this time that I first started getting into makeup as well, I think I was just super insecure and unhappy with myself in general. Another thing that's always been a big part of my life, and I was especially struggling with then, is that I've never been a skinny girl. But I do remember, and I had a friend, and I remember to this day her telling me that I wouldn't be pretty if I was skinny. And I think being 13 and hearing that from someone who's supposed to be one of your best friends, that was something I really held on to, and I think I still hold on to that a little bit. And now I'm 22 years old, and it still is in the back of my head there, this thing that this girl said to me when I was 13. Gone a bit off track, we're still talking about my makeup journey anyway. So I took a gap year. I graduated when I was only 16, so I couldn't really move away and go to university at 16. So I had a gap year. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I was just feeling a little bit lost, and I kind of got into my social media, and I started finding all of these makeup girls, and I was like, wow, this is really cool, and I could do that. I've always been good at art. I've always enjoyed makeup to a point. I was like, I really could get into this. And so from there, I started to do looks, and I would photograph them. I discovered this YouTube channel that was all about SFX makeup and beauty makeup, kind of mixed together and a bit of everything. And I started playing around with that more SFX, face painting, body art kind of side of makeup. So after spending all of that time kind of finding myself again, I went away to university, and I lost it. I think the whole time I was at uni, I did just feel lost all the time. I felt uninspired by what I was doing, and I loved the course I did. I actually studied theatre, so I studied what I do now, but I wasn't inspired by university. I struggled in my classes, I struggled to motivate myself, and I just kind of fell into these really bad patterns when I was studying. So I left university and I went and worked in adventure tourism. Now, if you are watching all of the episodes in this course, you will actually talk to a few of my friends from back in those days. I say back in those days, it was only a couple of years ago. That was kind of the time where I was like, I know who I am, I know what I love, and I know what I want to be doing. And so in this time, I got back into makeup again, and I got a lot more creative with it, and I got more into color, and I was getting really into expressing myself through the way I did my makeup and the way I dressed. I got a name for myself at work as the girl who would show up to casual drinks with a full face of makeup on, and everyone else would just be in their work uniform still. So that was kind of my thing. I had a brand then, and I really started to work out who I was. I really liked being, I really loved that version of myself that I discovered. And it was just time for me to really start doing those things that I knew I wanted to be doing, which was making art and contributing to a community. My time has come to really get properly creative and artistic, and from there my relationship with makeup has just flourished. So that, I guess, is just where I am at now. That was a really long-winded kind of explanation of me versus makeup, I guess. Since I came back to Ireland, since I started working like professionally in the arts, I really embraced that whole like sequin queen kind of vibe that I had going when I was working in the outdoors. And my relationship with makeup is still like growing and evolving every day, obviously. There are still some days where I am like, I'm gonna do my makeup today because I wake up and I don't feel pretty. That's really a mindset I'm trying to like teach myself out of, and I am more than just the makeup I can put on my face. Like, I have so much more to me and so much more to offer, and whether I'm pretty or not is irrelevant to what I can do. But that's been a really hard journey, and that is something I regularly have to remind myself. It's like, maybe you wake up and you don't feel cute on that specific day, but in the long run, like, what does it matter? I think one of the most important things to remember with makeup is that, you know, it's not serious, and I'm trying to get away from feeling like I have to rely on it. What I want for my makeup, and what I want for all of you at home who are like interested in makeup or feel like they really have to conform to anything, is to remember that it's okay to stand out and it is okay to be different. I think as I've got older, I realized that I've always been a bit weird, and being a bit weird is my strength. At the end of the day, if what you're doing makes you feel good and you feel like you, and you feel confident and you feel strong, then the thoughts of other people really don't matter. People are always going to have opinions, but I think it's been really powerful for me to realize that people don't think about me nearly as much as I used to think they do. And the people who I think about often and who I care about love me for who I am. So if you have a thing that you love doing that you think's not cool enough, or you think people are going to judge you for, just go ahead and get excited about it and be bold and be brave, because that's so beautiful. If you're ever thinking like, I can't do things because like people think I'm weird or won't have any friends, if that's like ever a thing and you're ever worried about like your friends judging you, just like hit me up, I'll be your friend. That's what this is about. This is about like meeting new people. It's about finding people who share your interests. It's about getting excited about the things you love and just like being really bold about those choices. Like, obviously makeup's one of my things and it's something that I really enjoy. And whatever your thing is, like, it could be anything. It could be baking, if you're really into baking. I really want everyone to feel like they have the space and the freedom to really celebrate those things that they love and be proud of them. I've spent too much of my life trying to hide from things that I didn't think were cool enough or I thought people would judge me for, and I'm just tired of that. The beautiful thing about this group is that we have this space and all of these people who are going through the same journey, and you can share these things with us. And I am there in the group, and you can ask me questions and we can have conversations. So, another episode's finished. That does mean there's a challenge. I want you to go find maybe a colorful eyeshadow palette, maybe a lipstick, anything that's just bright and different to what you would normally do. I want everyone to try this. I want you to add just some bit of color to your face, to your body somewhere. I don't care what it is you create. I just want to see how you can express yourself. Now I want you to take a photo when you're done. Very important, I want you to share your photo in the group and share how that makes you feel. Now, if you hate it and you go, this does not feel like me, then you can just wash it off. That is the beauty of makeup. Remember, it is all just an experiment. It is about playing with different ways to express yourself and seeing what makes you feel like you. I have really enjoyed this whole process and I cannot wait to see you in another episode, and I can't wait to see what looks you come up with. Bye. You might not be able to see this on camera, but I have this problem where everyone who knows me, everyone who's spending time in my house, anyone who's around me ends up with glitter on them, and I am always covered in glitter. And I just found a whole lot of glitter in my eyebrow.